Hi there. I'm Rick Brewer. I'm Jessica's dad, and we're going to be talking about movies today. And I was born in 1965, so I made it, by the deadline. So I know we've got quite a bit to talk about. So
Yes.
fire away.
Our first question is, what was the first movie that you remember seeing in the movie theater?
The first movie that I remember going to see at the theater was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And oh man, I was probably 6 years old, I think,
Hmm.
when it came out, something like that. And yeah, what about you? What do you remember us taking you to first?
My first movie that I remember going to, probably because I hated it so much, was when you guys took me to go see Moneyball with you.
That's right.
and I
Oh,
like
I forgot about
and
that.
I like cried halfway through the movie because I didn't want to be there, and then I was like falling asleep because it was so boring, and I hated it.
Yeah, I remember.
But
I
I don't
remember
remember
forcing you
how
to
old I
go that movie.
was, but
You're probably 11, maybe
but
less
I
than that.
hated
Yeah, that
it.
was funny. Um, anyway, what's the next question?
How was it?
Oh well, for me, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I made my parents every time it came on TV. I made my parents let me watch it. I knew all the songs. It just became one of my all-time favorite movies as a kid, and then it continued as an adult.
And then the next question was, how old were you? But you already answered
Yeah,
that.
I said that. Yeah.
So what movie theater was it?
The movie theater was called the Sherwood Theater, and it's no longer around. It closed long ago, but
Before
it's
I was
way long before
around.
you were born. Yeah, it was it just had two screens, and there's a mall there now.
um, what did you think about the experience?
Well, it's hard to remember. I mean, this is like 50 years ago for me when it occurred. I mean, obviously, I remember that I loved the movie, and I got to see it again on TV many times. But I do remember going to the movies as a kid, and of course, getting the popcorn and the sodas and all that kind of stuff. And it was a big deal to go to the movies back in the day.
Hmm. Um, the experience for me, I know that it has changed over the years, considering that we all have recliner seats, and
Yeah,
they
it's a
all
lot
some
different.
places come with tables now, so you can have your popcorn on a table. Back in the day, it used to just be the red velvet seats where you could either lift or lower
Right,
the armrest that had the cup holder, and you always had to fight with the person next to you on whose arm got to be on it.
right.
Um, what is the next question?
Oh.
What did it cost when you were younger?
Um,
And how often did you go to the movies?
we didn't go that often. When I was a young kid, we just had a lot of other things that we did. Going to the movies was a relatively, it wasn't expensive, but it was kind of a nice treat out. It wasn't something that we did an awful lot. Um, and I think it probably only cost like a couple of dollars, $2 or $3 to go to the movies. Um, at the I remember when it got to like $5 and people thought that was really expensive. Um, but I remember that there were dollar days. Like you could go to the on Saturdays you could go to the
It'd be a
movies for
dollar.
like $1 and you could stay all day.
Did you ever see any movies in the theater in black and white?
I don't remember ever seeing a black and white movie in the theater. On TV, absolutely, of course. All the great old time movies, but never in a movie theater. Well, wait a minute. Let's go back to you. Do you remember how much movies were, when you were a kid?
I remember when they were younger, they used to be about 7, 8, and then they got up to 10. But now it's like $12 or $14 just to go see a movie,
Yeah.
and that's not including popcorn,
Oh no, not even
not
close.
including any snacks or anything. I do have like a Regal card, so every once in a while I'll get a free ticket, but not very
Yeah,
often.
that's right.
They'll give you a
Um,
small popcorn.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you, of course, have not seen, I don't think, any black and
No,
white movie in a movie theater.
I wouldn't pay for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Um, let's see. Well, What's the next? What's next?
Um, what was your favorite movie when you were a child?
Well, that was one of them. I mean, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was one of them. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was definitely one of them. You know, those were really good, wholesome movies that I remember as a kid. We didn't have a lot of the animated movies like you have now. You
From
know,
Disney and
like from
everything.
Disney. There was a big time where Disney had gotten away from the animated movies. Then they came back with them about the time I turned 20. So yeah, Willy Wonka and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang were probably my favorites as a kid. What about you?
Probably Herbie the Love Bug. Um, Sled Dogs or their Snow Dogs. I don't remember the exact name of it. But the only time I really got to watch movies was if I was homesick. I did sports all the time and I was never
It's true.
home.
It's a good
Still to
point.
this day, someone's like, "Have you seen this movie?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what that is."
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen like very common ones, but none of the often the. And my parents didn't let me watch many movies until I
Well,
was 18.
there were a.
I wasn't even allowed to watch Twilight till I was 21.
I don't know
So
about that, but
on
anyway.
mom's side, yeah.
Yeah, I get you. What's next?
Your
Oh,
favorite movie as a teenager?
yeah. As a teenager, I remember. I remember some Burt Reynolds movies like Smokey and the Bandit, um, Hooper. I remember The Longest Yard. All those were Burt Reynolds movies that I liked a lot. And I remember liking the airport movies. There was Airport 75, Airport 77.
Nice.
These were all, you know, movies about big airline crashes and different things, and they had to get all the people,
Mhm.
rescued. And so those were when I was a teenager. Those were like my favorites.
My favorite movie as a teenager was Avatar, the one with the blue people, not the TV show, the movie. And he hated it,
No,
so
I
I would
liked the
watch it every
movie.
day though. He
Yeah,
liked the movie the first two times he watched it,
but not the
and then he would
43rd.
hide the DVD
It's a
and
good
tell
point.
me that it was no longer working.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What was your favorite movie as a young adult?
Um, that's a good question. About the time when I turned 20 or so, between say 20 and 25, I would say that there were a lot of great movies that came out around that time, and I really liked Field of Dreams, Ghostbusters. Um, what else? Uh, I don't know. Those are like the two that just popped to my mind. But it seemed, all the Star Wars movies came out when I was a late teenager,
Hmm.
about 20. I remember Revenge of the, um, what was it? I'm blanking on the name of it now. But yeah, the third Star Wars movie I thought was really good. I remember Beverly Hills Cop was a really good
Hmm.
movie when I was about 20. So there were
And
to
then
me
what
there were a
was your
lot of
favorite
movies.
movie today?
Well, overall, my favorite movie of all time is Field of Dreams, and I would say that I love The Artist. I love Shawshank Redemption and several others, but Field of Dreams is still my favorite movie of all
And who are your favorite movie stars when you were young?
time. Burt Reynolds when I was really young was probably my favorite. And then when I got older and started veering into more comedies, Bill Murray and Steve Martin were probably my favorites. And then you know, I love a good Meryl Streep movie, and
Hmm.
or Julia Roberts is an excellent actress, I think. So those are probably my favorites. What about you? Have you
Uh,
any people that you?
when I was younger, probably like Hannah Montana, who is Miley Cyrus, of course,
Right.
and not so much anymore. But I think every teenage girl can relate to watching her show
Yeah, I
or
think that's
her
true.
movies, and I think that was really the first person that a lot of teenagers can put a name to face to remember actually who the actors are, because it was the same actor over and over again, and I wasn't the best with putting names to faces. I still don't know a lot of actors. I'm like, isn't that the person from da 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 movie? I won't remember your name. I'll just remember what other movies you've been in. Let's
What's your
see.
favorite movie today?
Jurassic Parks.
Yeah, good.
Probably the newest one, but I don't typically watch one without watching the other ones in one sitting, or very close to. Um, let's see. Did you ever read movie magazines as a teenager or young person?
I did not. Did you?
No,
Yeah.
I don't read anything unless I have to. Have you ever seen the same film over and over again? Which ones and why?
I remember I think the only movie that I've ever paid to see three times was Ghostbusters, the
Hmm.
original one. Um, I did pay to see The Sixth Sense twice. That's also one of my
Oh
all-time
yeah, I
favorite
remember that
movies.
one.
I would take I took we we took
Because you want to see
my
everyone's
wife's. Yeah,
reactions.
exactly. You want to see people. You wanted to see people's reactions in the theater. And that was pretty good. Other than that, I typically wouldn't pay to see a movie more than once.
For me, the only time that I would pay to see a film more than once is I would never go see a movie alone. There's no interest in that. But I'll go and see it with one friend, and then someone else is like, "Hey, come watch this with us." So then I've already seen it, and they don't want to go to anything else, or they've all seen the other one, so I end up going to see it twice. But a lot of times it ends up being a horror movie because no one ever wants to go alone. So I think I saw Annabelle a couple times. I saw The Conjuring 2 once with him, once with my
Right.
friend Zaria. I've seen. There's been a lot of horror movies that come. Recently I've seen The Purge twice. I went with my boyfriend, and then we went again with my boyfriend and then his friends. But yeah, I wouldn't pay twice to go see a movie unless it was with somebody.
Right. And you want to
Um,
see their reaction, like you
yeah.
said. Yeah, that's
Do
good.
you read any movie entertainment magazines today, and which
I
ones?
don't now, but I mean, there was a time for many years when I think I had a subscription to Entertainment Weekly, and I felt that was a very well written magazine about movies in the entertainment industry. But it's been years since I've kept that
Hmm.
subscription up, and I don't anymore.
Okay. I don't read magazines, nothing. Mm-mm. It doesn't have interest to me. The only thing I'll look at is the pictures. Um, as a young person, did you have any crushes on actors or actresses? If so, who and why were these people special to you?
Yeah, wow, that's I
A
know,
loaded
yeah,
question.
loaded. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think there were definitely some actresses that that I would say I had a crush on. One was named Diane Franklin. Another one was Betsy Russell, and Brooke Shields was another one. She's still
Hmm.
very active as an actress today. And I mean, I'm a red-blooded American man. They were pretty. I mean, why?
Nice. Okay.
So that's why I had a little crush on them. But what about you? Were you
No, again,
not the guy
I'm
from
not really.
Twilight?
No. I didn't really enjoy that. I mean, I like the story behind the movie, but again, I'm not a big movie person. Like I said, one of my favorite movies is Jurassic Park. I have a crush on the dinosaurs, I guess. I like dinosaurs. I like animals. I
That's
like
true.
watching things like Two Brothers, or where like
Right.
the things are animals, or I'm not a big person where it's like straight up just actor, you know. But how do you watch movies now? Do you watch them in theater, on DVD, or on VCR, or on television?
Well,
I think mine's a mix of
certainly.
all of them.
Well, it's a mix, but certainly mostly really on streaming now. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually popped in a DVD in a while. And we did go to your mom and I did go to the theater just last
2 days
week.
ago. You
Yeah, a
went two
couple
days
days.
ago, and I
That's
went
right.
yesterday. We
Yeah,
both went to go see Jungle Cruise,
right.
but at different times.
Yeah, so it was, and that's the first time we've been to the theater in months, and only I
Yeah,
think the
since
second
COVID.
time, yeah, only the second time since COVID. But now it's all streaming. I mean, that's
Hmm.
kind of really where I tend to watch.
Yeah, I don't really do it on TV. I have an Xbox, so all you have to do if you want to watch a movie is maybe pop on Netflix or Hulu, but you can literally go to the store on Xbox, type in the movie name, and you can rent it right then and there for $2.
Yeah.
What is your favorite way to see movies now? I think I just explained mine.
Yeah.
I think that question is the same as the first.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there is something cool about going to the theater, going to a movie theater and seeing a movie, you know,
But I'd rather
if
do it in the comfort of my own home.
and especially now that our TVs are so big and the sound
Mhm.
is so good, it really is like being at the theater in your house. I
Mhm.
mean, when I was a kid, we had TVs that were, yay big, and the sound was terrible. So we wanted to, that was the big thing about going to a movie.
Yeah. Do you rent films? And if so, who from? We used to rent movies a lot from
Right.
either Blockbuster when they were still around, or after Blockbuster, we would do the Netflix through the mail or Redbox.
Right.
But nowadays, the only time I rent a movie is through online services.
Yeah, same here. I mean, we'll do on demand once in a while, but usually we just wait for them to come out and be
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. What movies have you seen recently that you enjoyed? I enjoyed the movie yesterday that we went to go see in the movies, Jungle Cruise. But mostly I enjoyed The Purge, the Forever Purge that came out. That was my favorite one that's been out recently because I'm typically one of those people who's seen every movie before it's out of the theaters. If it's not in the theaters, I will probably never watch it.
It's been a long time since I've really enjoyed a movie at the theater. We did go see Jungle Cruise. My wife loved it.
He did not.
I didn't.
He's hard to please.
I am kind of hard to please when it comes to movies. We also went and saw at the same time. We actually paid for two movies. We went and saw the new Matt Damon movie called Stillwater. It wasn't very good either. It's that's the biggest issue for me now, and the theater is um, the notion that it's probably not going to be very good, and paying all that money and then and not really being entertained is really tough.
And then, what do you have in common with the films you remember enjoying when you were younger? With the movie you just enjoyed, I guess.
I think for me, when I was younger, I mean, I I loved the musicals, and I've done as Jess would tell you, I've done many musicals in local community theater, so that's one thing that I've have in common. And I love comedies, and we have a lot of we laugh a lot in this house, and so I think those are the things that I have in
And
common.
do you still have a favorite actor, actress, and who's that today?
You know, I mean, there's a lot of great actors and actresses today. I mean, it'd be hard just to list them, but again, Meryl Streep. Uh,
I love when Kevin Hart shows up in a movie.
Oh yeah, he's
or
funny.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
Or them
yeah,
together is even better.
yeah, those guys are funny, and I like William H Macy's really good in movies, and there's a few others, but I mean, geez. Yeah, there's a lot of great actors and actresses right now.
How movies have changed in our lifetime. I think we did touch on that a little bit earlier when we talked about how the prices have significantly changed.
Yep.
How it's no longer just the red velvet seats. You now have recliner seats that you can move up and down, and you get a table so you can put all your stuff on it. It's definitely a lot different than it used to be. It's more luxurious, I would say, because even some places just have straight couches. But
Yeah, and I would just say that the movies have changed in a lot of ways. Certainly, the sound is so much better now, and there's and the stories are I think are better in some ways, but they're worse in other ways too. So movies have definitely changed, no doubt about it.
do you buy movies for yourself? If so, which ones?
No, not anymore.
I don't buy them anymore. I watch them once and I'm over them.
Yeah.
If you could have any films, old or current, which ones would you want to own?
We did that for a long time, but again, now I wouldn't own any movies because you can just rent them or watch them on demand.
You can find
or whatever.
anything online. You don't need to. We used to have drawers
full of
DVDs, and half of them didn't work. But
that's true, and that's
it.
one of the reasons. Anyway, that's it.
That sums it up.
Yeah.
That's all the answers.
Thanks so much for these were great questions. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.